with so few homes in inventory that are up for sale right now, when we're a seller and we're looking to put our home on the market, we're hoping we're going to get the best price possible for our home. But there are things that we may have done to our house that actually decrease its value. It's the real estate show. Welcome to the Real Estate Show. My name is Rick Naples. I am the owner-broker of Zone Realty LLC. You zone your home, with an office in Plainville, Connecticut. I talk to sellers all the time. I'm a listing agent, so I put homes up for sale, and I work for a lot of clients that are hoping to get the best price they possibly can on the home that they own. There's a number of reasons for that. They could be just looking to get as much equity out of the home as possible to have monies for the next purchase they want to do, or perhaps they have other plans in life where maximizing the amount they're going to get for their home will help them achieve those goals. But there are things that we do when we're living in a house that could unintentionally decrease the value. Now, let me just talk about that a little bit. We all live in our homes. When we first buy the home, it's all new and we're all excited and we do all the different things that we wanted to do to the house to make it our own, right? And then we begin to live life in the home. And the days go by or the years go by. Families change, situations change. Our house ages along with us. And there are certain maintenance items that you need to do in order to just keep your home functioning, right? I mean, you've got to make sure if you have a furnace that it's maintained. You want to make sure that the house is in good condition, the roof, the windows, and so on and so forth. But there are a lot of little things that kind of happen as we're living in our homes that are, for lack of better words, those kinds of things that we think, well, it should be done, but maybe not now. I can't afford to do it right now. I don't have the time to do it right now. Or even, no one's going to notice. Those kinds of things. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When a buyer is looking to come into your home to look at the possibility of maybe making an offer, they have very sharp eyes. They're going to see everything. Try to think back to when you bought your home, when you were first out there looking for a house to buy. Weren't you being a little critical? Weren't you looking for things to say, well, I'm going to have to fix this, or I'm going to have to repair that, or this house needs to be painted, or whatever it might be? The buyer is in the situation you are in, and the better you understand that, the more value you're going to get out of your home. Now, of course, houses will appreciate in value. Over time they increase. Depending on the market, sometimes it's aggressive, sometimes it's slow, depends on the locale and so on and so forth. But you want to make sure you get the best dollars you possibly can when it comes to reselling your home. So those little things that you may have been putting aside, you want to tend to those. Buyers are very critical, as I said, when they come in and they take a look at a house. They're looking for things that they may have to do. So you may have, painted the rooms in your house years ago, and over the years, that paint starts to look a little dull. Maybe the walls look a little dirty, but you're not really noticing that. You live in the house, right? The buyer comes in and notices that right away. So that's a quick fix. That's something that you can assess to see whether or not you need to do it, and you might want to freshen up a few of the walls. Now, I'm not telling you to change all the colors in that way or whatever. Some people will, some people don't. There's a whole science behind the colors of walls and so on and so forth, and I can talk about that and have talked about that on the real estate show. You know, the idea of neutralizing everything. But again, you want to kind of take a walk around the house and see what needs to be fixed. Now, the easiest thing, the most inexpensive thing to do is to clean, obviously. Making sure the house is nice and clean. You want to make sure your windows are clean. Let a lot of natural light in. Make sure all the light bulbs work in the house, because I always tell my sellers, you know, when someone's going to come to look at your house, put every light in the house on. The reason for that is you want to light up the house. You want the buyer to be able to see the home. You want, as the home inspectors say, the ability to see corner to corner. You don't want any dark areas in the house. Sometimes if you do have a dark area in the house, let's say it's a part of the house where there's no window, it's maybe a back room or whatever, think about using lamps, you know, to just get that light into the room. Look at the things that you may need to repair around the house. You know, if there's a broken knob on a cabinet, or if there's a door that squeaks when it opens, or perhaps there's something like indoors where it doesn't shut quite correctly, maybe there's a scratch on the wood floor or a small dent in an appliance. Those kinds of things you want to spot out and see whether or not you can repair them. Because again, buyers are going to see that. And the buyers have a tool that they're going to use if they make an offer on your home and you accept the offer. And that's called the home inspector. The home inspector is going to go through the house and they're going to spot things that perhaps you didn't even think of. So make sure that you take a pre-walk through the home and see if there are those quite little things that you can repair that are not going to attract a lot of attention, that may unintentionally devalue, in a buyer's mind, the price you're asking for the home.
A word about neglecting maintenance. Have you ever noticed things around the house that should be repaired? You figure you'll get to it, or it's too involved or expensive to do right now. It's the little things that, in the eyes of a buyer, are big things. Dull paint colors, dirty walls, scratches on appliances, or even on your wood floors. Even outdated decor or decorations can deter buyers. When selling your home, paying attention to the little details can make the difference in getting a strong offer or a low bid. Remember that buyers have sharp eyes. They will see things that you may not notice anymore. Whether selling now or in the future, do not neglect those maintenance things that need to be kept up with. The more neglect, the lower the value of your home. Make a needs list and look for ways to do those repairs and updates before you put your home on the market. After all, you want the best price, don't you? I'm Rick Naples, broker realtor, Zone Realty LLC, licensed in Connecticut, 860-385-2218.
There's a thing in real estate, or just basically in consideration. It's called curb appeal. What is curb appeal? This is an impression. It's a first impression. It's how your home presents itself to the general public. And what I mean by that is when you drive through a neighborhood, have you ever noticed the houses Do things like well-groomed lawns or nicely manicured homes kind of stand out to you as you go through a neighborhood and give you that feeling of, wow, this is a very nice neighborhood. This is a very nice area. This might be an area I'd like to live in. Well, those are the kinds of things that you want to convey in your home when you put it up for sale. Now, I'm not saying you're going to mow the lawn every single day. What I am saying is that take a look at your home from the street. What does it look like to you? Does it look approachable? Does the house say, look at me, I'm a very nice home. Not only do I look great outside, but you should see what I look like inside. Remember, you're trying to entice buyers. Now, when a buyer's looking for a home, they look on the internet, they look on real estate sites, and they look at pictures, right? Pictures are wonderful. But there are techniques in taking pictures. There are ways you can angle a camera to get a shot, to show a particular situation in its best light. I once had someone show me in a presentation a picture of someone's living room, and it was a very nice living room. I mean, it looked very welcoming. The furniture was nice, it had a fireplace, the decor was wonderful. And then he showed another picture of the same living room zooming back, and you could see that the carpet was out of date, that there was actually some damage to one of the couches from the cats that lived in the house. You could see there were problems in the room that kind of stood out, but the picture was taken in such a way to make it look as best as possible. They zoomed in a little bit to avoid showing all that stuff. It's the same thing when you're taking pictures outside of the home. Sometimes the angle that's taken will show the home so it looks bigger than it actually is. I was trained as a photographer of when I'm taking a picture of a subject to do what's called a 3/4 shot. That actually comes from the automobile business, quite honestly. A 3/4 shot is when you take a picture of something on an angle to give it some length, to give it some presence, rather than taking it straight on. Now, curb appeal is another thing that's important, because buyers, when they go out and they do their searches, if they see something on the internet, they see pictures, and it looks like a nice house, they're going to do some window shopping. And window shopping for a buyer simply means the term drive-by. They're going to jump in their car with friends or with their partner or whoever it might be, and they're going to go out to seek that home. Drive the neighborhood, drive the streets, look at the house, and so on and so forth, without actually making an appointment with their realtor to go inside the house. If they drive up to the house and the lawn is shabby and there's a few dead bushes in the front of the house and the trees have dead limbs on them and the house looks like it needs to be painted, the garage door looks like it doesn't function, those kinds of things might deter the buyer from wanting to take a look at that home, unless that's what they're specifically looking for. But again, you have to be careful, because someone who's specifically looking for a home that needs work is an investor, is someone who's going to give you a low bid. If you're looking to get a better price, a premium price on your house, you want that curb appeal to be the best possible. You can do a lot of different things when it comes to making your house have a presence or an impression. One of the simple things to do is look at the driveway. How many cars do you own? How many cars do you put in the driveway? Is there a way to put a car or two in a garage somewhere so it doesn't look like the driveway's overwhelmed with cars? What about the garbage cans? You know, in my town, we have those huge rolling garbage cans, and they get heavy when they get full. And a lot of people keep them in the front of the house, you know, at the edge of the garage or in front of the garage door or somewhere along there. So when it's time to put the garbage out, it's easy to roll it down the driveway to the street, right? that's one of my pet peeves. When I drive up to a house, I don't want to see the garbage cans. So I always say to the seller, roll those garbage cans around back. Another thing to think of when you're thinking of curb appeal is, what can I do that is going to give some pop to the front of the house? Some pizzazz, some look at me type things. And that's where plantings come important. Now, I don't want you to go crazy. If it's the warm weather and it's growing season and you can plant some flowers or something attractive in the front yard, go right ahead and do that. But don't overdo it. Yard decorations are one of the other things that I always advise people to be careful on. You know, sometimes we go a little bit overboard. I mean, we all like to have pretty things to look at, but sometimes we have a little bit too much. So you want to make sure that that is presentable and looks nice, but it's not overwhelming. In other words, you don't want to have anything that is going to draw the buyer's eye away from the house. I'll give you an example. I had an individual that was a landscaper by trade, and he decided to build a koi pond and put it in the front of the house rather than towards the rear of the house. It was very pretty, you know, it had waterfall in it and you know, different plants around it and the whole bit, and it was really nice when you came up the walkway to see the pond. But that was also the problem. When people came to look at the house, they went up the walkway and looked at the pond, not the house. You know? So again, you have to strategically plan what you're going to do to give your house that curb appeal. So when buyers drive by, again they say, this looks like a wonderful house. This might fit for us. I'm curious to see what it looks like inside.
Let's talk about curb appeal. Curb appeal is first impressions. It's what we see that can influence our decision making. Buyers tend to window shop. They tend to look at pictures first, then read the descriptions. Buyers window shop by doing a drive-by. This is when they come out to the area, see what your home looks like. Let me ask you this, have you looked at your house from the street? What do you see? Is the grass cut? Flowers and trees in good shape? Overall groomed yard? It's the details that make big impressions. Look at the other homes. Does yours have curb appeal? Does it say I look good on the outside, so come see the great inside? Definitely worth thinking about. I'm Rick Naples, broker realtor, Zone Realty LLC, licensed in Connecticut, 860-385-2218.
One of the things that all realtors do when they meet with a seller is they'll do what's called a walkthrough. And this is the process where the realtor with the seller walks through the house and talks about different things that could help appeal to a buyer. They're going to point out different things. They're going to point out, you know, you might want to, you probably could consider doing, and so on and so forth, as they go through the interior of the house. And if the weather permits, the realtor also wants to take the seller and walk around the perimeter of the house, walk around the yard, look at the exterior of the house, look at the roof, look at the way the garage presents itself to the street, and get a feel for the land around the house. Because again, those could be selling points to make your house stand out from other people's homes. Again, you're putting your house on the market because you want to sell it and you want to get the best possible price you can, correct? So those little details become very, very important. And the realtor has looked at a lot of houses. The realtor's in a business where they are marketing homes. They have an eye for what will be great selling points on your house. Now, it's a given that some homes just have features that are wonderful selling points. You know, the house itself doesn't really need anything except to just be cleaned, but the house has some selling points. But there are other homes that maybe don't have something that jumps right out at the buyer. Perhaps there's a feature of the home that is not a feature that really presents itself. Like, for instance, closets. You know, closets are places to store stuff. Some folks have closets that are walk-in style closets that have shelving and storage set up and organized in such a way that's appealing for someone that has a need for that. But you can't see the closet from the outside of the house. And if you're walking through the house and the closet door is shut, you can't see the closet, right? So that's something that a realtor would mention in the description of the interior of the home, because that's a selling point. Now let's talk about pricing the house. After the realtor has done their walkthrough with you and made the suggestions, or maybe even you've made a list of some of the kinds of things that you can do, they're going to sit down and they're going to show you what they call a comparative market analysis or a competitive market analysis. That CMA is going to show you what homes in the neighborhood like yours, similar bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, maybe yard size, what they've sold for. That, in combination with what your home has to offer and the realtor's experience, are going to help you price the home. Now, a realtor doesn't say your house should be priced boom, because the realtor's not making the decision. The realtor's going to give you information that helps you make a decision on how to price your home to the market. And you want to be competitive, right? You don't want to price too high, because then buyers aren't going to come and look. You don't want to price too low, because a buyer may say, there's something wrong with this house. Why is it priced so low?
The mystery of pricing. Did you ever think, what would your home sell for? I mean, how do you determine the price? Well, there's a number of things that you have to consider. What are like homes selling for? What would a buyer pay? What do I need in order to sell? A realtor will research what like homes have sold for. They will provide you with a comparative market analysis, or a CMA. This will give you a base from which to price your home. CMAs will show a suggested price, a range from high to low. Then the realtor will groom that price based on their knowledge and expertise. This then gives you the information to decide on what price to market the home at for sale. Always keep in mind, however, that there are three prices of any home for sale. The price you want, the price the bank will determine the finance, and the price the buyer will pay. I'm Rick Naples, broker, realtor, Zone Realty LLC, licensed in Connecticut, 860-385-2218.
My name is Rick Naples, and this has been The Real Estate Show. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Nick Augustino right here at the East Side Restaurant. We always have the complete full dinner menu. Knockwurst, bratwurst, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, red cabbage, rice pudding, cream pies, all the desserts that Germany had to offer. I always do something different. Yes, I do. I brought seafood to the beer garden at the East Side Restaurant. East Side Restaurant, your German destination restaurant in Connecticut. Tiki-taka, hoy, hoy, hoy!
Hello, I'm Bill Meyer, Board Director for Nutmeg TV, your local public TV station. For over 30 years now, Nutmeg has brought countless local events, municipal meetings, and programs to our TV screens. To continue this important work, Nutmeg relies on the support of generous individuals like yourself. So we're reaching out today to ask for your monetary support. Together we can continue to amplify the voices and stories that make our community unique and vibrant.
To make a donation, simply visit our website at nutmegtv.com or call the office at 860-321-7405 for assistance.